If you're using what is normal and common to dictate what you want in this life and how you will live your life, you're setting yourself up for mediocrity and a long life of disappointment and despair. Honey, we all know that most people are not living a life that they truly desire. Most people are in jobs that they hate, are in relationships that are making them miserable, are in locations and habits that are sucking them dry emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, are connected to family members that are abusive, are not in the health that they want to be, disconnected from the true God, the true source energy. Most people are living a life that is disappointing, full of despair, mediocre, and a life that they're actually waiting to pass away from so they can go and hopefully find this magical heaven that they've been told about, never seen, but been told about, that will relieve them from the suffering that they have spent 80, 90, 100 years enduring on this earth. Sounds crazy, right? But most of us know that this is the reality for most people. We look around at our families, we look around at our associates and friends and our coworkers, and this is what we see. People enduring, people being long suffering. And there's people that will say, oh, well, this is just what it is. This is what people have to deal with. This is what is expected out of when you're working. This is what people have to deal with when they're dealing with relationships. This is what is common. Okay, yeah, it is common. It is common for those who have chosen, whether consciously or unconsciously, to suffer. Those who have chosen to enslave themselves to systems and mindsets and ways of thinking that keeps them miserable. And one day, eventually, death will come relieve them from this suffering that is called being human. Is that what you want to live? Because me, I'm that person. If that is the choice, take me out now. Let me go jump off a bridge now. Let me go play in traffic now. I refuse to spend 80, 90 years of misery here and then hope that, maybe one day when I finally pass away, I'll be relieved. I'll be relieved. Honey, take me now. Because my thing is, if heaven is the relief, why don't you go there now? See, the thing is, the human soul, for those who actually have a soul, because we'll talk about that later. The human soul knows that there's more to this life. The soul within the human avatar knows that there's much more to this life than long suffering. There is much more to the realm of being able to create something, being able to fulfill something, being able to really live within your own wishes and preference. But the programming that we receive constantly since we've been born tells us that that's not possible, but the soul knows it is possible. And this is why it's so hard for people to just take themselves out. Because my thing is, if this life was meant to be decades of long suffering, and then you eventually will, transition into your heaven and your joy and your abundance, wouldn't people just go ahead and off themselves now? Why is it so hard for people to off themselves? Yet they still believe that they have to endure 90, 100 years of suffering. There's cognitive dissonance because your soul knows you don't have to endure decades of long suffering. You don't have to wait for your heaven when you transition. The soul knows that. And that's why people can't simply just take themselves out and expedite themselves onto heaven. Because heaven is literally at your feet. Heaven or hell, You choose which one you're going to create. It's literally at your feet. And so many people have drunk the Kool-Aid and taken the programming of creating their own hell on earth, that they have to wait until they leave here in order to find their heaven. And there's very few that have chosen to create their own heaven on earth. So it is above, so it is below. And truthfully, when I think about it, because my mentor, she speaks about these soulless people. And I remember when I first started working with her years ago, I didn't really have an understanding of what she was saying. I'm like, soulless people? What in the world? Like, don't you have to have a soul to be on this earthly realm? But the more I have learned through the process of spiritual awakening, going through my own twin flame journey of basically meeting somebody that is you in a different body, same soul signature, experiencing different dimensions where I'm seeing different beings that are not human. Even during ayahuasca, being able to remove the veil, the scales from my eyes, to see things as they are, and to see this spiritual parallel that is always, the spiritual realm that's always in parallel with this earthly realm. Being able to see these spiritual beings, being able to communicate with these spiritual beings through my ability to be a channel and a medium and even a prophet. There's more to this earthly realm than we give credit for, honey. There's more than just humans out here. There's very much other entities, other beings that appear human that are not human. There's other entities, other beings that we don't see with our physical eyes. We have to see with our spiritual eyes. They're out here, right among us. So when we say soulless people, I now realize it's a possibility. People are so scared of AI, not realizing that AI is already among us. Artificial intelligence, basically clones, soulless people, they're among us. And you know the easy way to tell these people never push against the system. They never have no inner deep-rooted guidance to want more. That is usually an aspect of the soul. The aspect of the soul is to know that there's more and to want more. People who just go along with the system, don't really complain, don't really have much to say. They just, I believe whatever the government and the news tells me. I believe, I do what I'm supposed to do. No complaints, no questions. Those are soulless people. People that you come across and it's just like, there's no one home. Like, energetically, really no one home. Not on a soul level. Soulless people. And the funny thing is, it's almost as though 2020 with the C-19, it kind of revealed those who were kind of soulless. It kind of gave us a little insight. Those who went along with the programming with no complaints. That was just like, okie dokie, I'm doing what I'm told. Soulless people, clones. No soul in there. Because the soul will tell you, something ain't right. The soul will muster up something that is in conflict to delusions, illusions, and all of those. But for those who was like, I'm just going to go with the program. Something ain't right. And if y'all think that there's 8 billion different souls, please. I would be surprised if a good 40% of those people had souls. I would say most of those people are just simply, artificially cloned clones sent here to be labor.